let's move on to our first series here. We have
It's my turn.
Toast.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, it's me. I watched S-Rank Musume. I don't know.
Yes.
Wait,
I can
is
read
that
it here. Yeah.
is that the
It's like
actual?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
like
actual
the
acronym, right?
shortened
that's like yeah,
Really?
I that should be the short one. Yeah, S-Rank Musume, which is short for the localized title is My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer, and the Japanese full title is 보호켄시になりたいと都に出ていた娘が S-Rank になってた. This is a probably a Naruke one, right?
Yes.
Mm. Yeah. Now it's an anime. What studio is it by?
I don't
It's
know.
Typhoon Graphics. What the fuck? I've never heard of this show.
You'll never.
Oh, they did like a lot of assistant stuff
I
and
bet you'll
weird and
never
like
hear of
smaller
these
stuff. Yeah.
producers either, because there's a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
Apparently, One Room Spire. You like one? You watched One Room, right? Was that? Didn't you like One Room? They did One Room.
That was like the
I
first
didn't
person
like it.
thing, right?
Watched like one episode of
yeah.
it.
They did Roommate. I don't know what that is. Kanajo. Was this why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's mansion? Was this the ATX one or the R18 one? I don't remember. No, I didn't watch this one. So yeah, a relatively smallish, I guess, company. But for some reason there was a ton of producers on this. I guess the main one is NBC Universal Entertainment Japan. For some
That's how it
reason.
goes for producers these days, I feel. It's just a
Yeah.
fucking huge list nowadays.
There's Billy, Earthstar Entertainment, and I guess that makes sense because the voice cast in this is pretty big. You've got the main. See the main? You've got the main father, Belgrieve the Red Ogre. He's voiced by Junichi Suwabe. Then you've got his daughter Angeline, voiced by Hayami Saori. And like even the supporting characters are pretty big too. There's a bunch. The three noble sisters in this set. There's the Bordeaux family, which is like three noble sisters. The oldest one, Helvetica, is voiced by Marina Inoue. Then you got the second daughter is Mizuno Saku, and then you got the third daughter who's Kana Ichinose.
Yeah,
So
this looks like a
this is a
very
really
like a pretty fitting casting, honestly, right? Except for like oh man, Schweiss. It's been a while since Shimo no Hiro has taken on like a weird, more sinister role, right? Schweiss, I'm guessing,
no
is a
no
villain role.
Spire. It's called Last Year.
Oh, okay.
This guy
But
this
yeah.
guy didn't watch Kamen Rider Geats.
Yeah. I apologize. But yeah, this seems like a pretty good casting overall, right? Pretty fitting voice for all of them.
Okurumi, Nanagawa Maria, and
Mhm.
Fyro's Eye is that Marguerite? Marguerite? Yeah, there's a lot, and the guild master is Sugita. Like I said, this is a very extensive list of professionals in this series that I don't get, but maybe it's because it's NBC Universal. So they're like, okay, we'll cram as many as we can. But yeah, so the story. But yeah, that's. I'm just saying that's my take on the voice cast. It's a very A-list professionals. So the story is that the dude Junichi Suwabe Belgrieve, he he's the famous joke. I guess the Japanese really like the famous joke as well,
Mhm.
because Belgrieve, when he was younger, he used to be an adventurer, but instead of got hit by an arrow in the knee. No, he lost his leg in a fight early on, so he had to retire as an E rank adventurer. And like when he's older, I guess 25-ish, he finds a baby in the woods and adopts it. That's his adopted daughter Angeline. Then 12 years later, she goes off to become an adventurer, and 5 years later, she's now S rank. Yeah.
So is this like how? What is this episodic or is this like mini arcs? What's happening here?
There's, I mean, there's 11 episodes of this, and so far there's one main plot, but I don't know if they'll be able to wrap it up because it's a bit too grandiose for 13 episodes. So the main thing is, oh, there's a but the it's a typical thing where since she's an S-rank adventurer, she has to go on these difficult missions, and the overlying thing is that the Demon Kings are rising up again, and lo and behold, it's the famous trope of who these Demon Kings are. There's 72 Demon
Wait,
Kings.
but like Belgrieve is is he traveling along with the
No,
daughter?
no,
So it's
he's
just
in
two
the,
perspectives,
I
or is it just
guess
Angeline?
there's two
Okay. So
perspectives.
it's just back and
There's
forth. Okay.
there's Belgrieve hanging out and doing things in the town because he's retired, and then there's Angeline doing stuff as an S-rank adventurer.
Oh, so it's like one of those things where it's like Angeline like defeats a whole bunch of monsters and looks cool, but on the inside she's like, "Oh man, I want to get back to my dad or
Hell
whatever."
yeah,
Right?
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically her whole character
Okay.
archetype.
Got him.
But
Got
yeah,
it.
do you get why there's 72 Demon Kings? Get it? Get
Wait,
it?
what?
Get it, Near?
Wait,
Near gets it. I
why?
believe in you, Near.
Huh?
Do you know
I
why
mean,
there's
yeah,
70? Yeah,
yeah.
say it, Near.
It's like the Sumerian legend, right? For
Yeah, the book
Solomon.
is it's always
Yeah,
Solomon. Why is it always Solomon? Solomon and his
because
72 Demon Kings are wreaking havoc across the
yeah,
world. And that's why Angeline's always busy. But the main point of the story is Angeline's busy fighting Demon Kings, but all she does wants to do is go home and hang out with her dad because it's been 5 years since she left. And that's the plot of episodes 1 to 3. And
Is
basically,
there?
after that,
uh, Okay.
what? No, continue. What's your question?
I was just wondering. I don't. Have you read the web novel?
I
Any?
read the manga because manga has
Okay.
chapters.
So does the manga have like a decent amount of chapters, or is it just like 14 chapters, some shit like that?
It's pretty. Let me check. I want to say there's quite a few chapters.
Okay. So like, is this?
35 have been translated.
I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler, but are there any like parts where the daughter and the father come together? Because that I would
That's
expect that would be the
that's
biggest.
that is the biggest. That's after episode 3, and that's all arguably
Okay.
the most important parts of the series.
Yeah, the best and the most. Yeah,
I'd
exactly. Yeah.
I'd say that's, I guess you'd call this slow life. But I'd probably put this in the slow life genre because the most interesting part is when Angeline's at home. Then like everyone that Angeline meets in her travels, they also visit her dad, and then wacky hijinks ensues.
Oh, she becomes jealous or whatever. Is that
No,
part of
not
it?
really. She's like, "Oh,
Oh,
look at
okay.
my dad! Isn't he so cool?" I guess she's more proud of her dad than that,
Okay.
and whatnot. But I mean, she is a bit of a father con, but I don't care. Whatever. It's not
So
that
the
weird
like
yet.
episode 4 onwards is like they're all kind of together and they're the basis is slow life, but then because it's like the S rank daughter and like there's like all this like like bad stuff surrounding them or like danger surrounding them or whatever, um they go out and take care of it, right? That's sort of how it happens.
It's, what do you mean by they? Because
I guess is it
Belgrieve, but
mainly Angeline that just
main,
goes out and solves all the problems?
contrary to what the title says, Angeline is the one who does the most in the series because Belgrieve, her father, really doesn't leave the town all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, most of the stuff that happens between them is at their house and like in their village. But when
Mm-hmm.
Angeline goes out and does stuff, that's a whole different like story arc. She's they're fighting
Oh,
demons and
so
stuff.
it keeps splitting the perspectives. Like whenever Angeline goes out, it keeps being like, oh, Angeline's doing all of this like serious stuff while
Uh, and
Belgrieve
then
is doing solo life stuff.
yeah, and then she goes home, and then they do stuff, and like that's
Hmm.
basically what the
Okay.
series is.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
why that's why I file it under slow life.
Yeah. 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 I think that's
Because
fine.
while there's this overarching plotline about hey, there's demon kings, and there's this cult trying to resurrect the demon kings, but in the end, it gets settled when they introduce Belgrieve because spoiler, there's quite a few I mean, would you call them young girls? He's like 40. So he's
What?
like four.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, most of the problems can be solved by the way of family. So like, hey, Angeline brings home a troubled young child to Belgrieve's like, all right, I'll handle it. And he solves it by the power of being a cool dad. I guess
Okay.
there's
Nice.
like there's a little girl abandoned by her parents, I guess. She's a she's a prodigious member of the cult that's trying to resurrect the demon kings, but then like, oh, she sees Belgrieve as a father figure. So now she's like, okay, never mind, I'll be a good girl. And I was like, damn, all right. And then there's
Dang.
another little girl character who's also um I guess misguided, and then Belgrieve encounters her and she's like, damn, okay, I guess I'll be good now. So a lot of this, like a lot of the plot is solved by being a good father.
Mhm.
That also ties into like
Real life.
the three noble ladies that like oversee this entire area of where they live. The oldest one, or let's see, Angeline saves the youngest one by happenstance, and then she tells him all about her cool dad. And then the second one, who's also an adventurer, she's like, "Oh, I heard from your S-rank daughter that you trained her, and she's never beaten you. So I have to fight you." And then she gets beaten, like, "Oh, I'll call you master." And then the oldest one was like, "Oh, I heard you're so cool. Let me marry you." And I was like, "Oh, damn, he's got that riz, as as the Gen Alphas call it." So yeah, guess. Thanks, Angeline. Your your father's so cool. He solves everything that you can't. And I
Can
mean, I
I?
guess that's the point of his thing.
Yeah, I mean that's like the point of the entire like series, right? So,
His
um,
thing too is he brings in a lot of characters under the father role as well, right?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of characters wound up being like was it Angeline's other party members um
Oh yeah.
are
Then they're like, oh,
orphans. So then like
mhm.
he like they treat him like a father figure almost too.
he's got all. Yeah. So he's not just got one S-rank daughter. He's got everyone as a daughter. Even the elf, who's older, but who cares? She's a female and she looks younger than him. She counts as a daughter too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only one who's not a daughter is the old lady. The old lady dragon slayer. She's what 68. So she's not a daughter. Everyone else, we can file them under daughter. But yeah. That's literally the story. I don't know how they can make a good conclusion in 2 episodes left because this is 13
I
episodes.
mean they're just gonna run off into the sunset. Like they're just gonna finish off the mini arc and then it's done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that's like par for the course. I don't
One
think that's
one
too bad,
daughter, two
considering
daughters.
it's like a yeah, considering it's like a 12 episode soul life stuff with a relatively like standard set of episodic, not episodic, a mini arc stuff. I don't think that's too bad, to be honest. Um,
When you
how's
start
the
off
open?
with one daughter and you end up with 3 or 4 by
All
almost the
the
end of this
daughters, yeah.
episode. Like, it's not even counting
This
the party
reminds me of
members.
the old fucking that YouTube like skit like that was super way back. The daughters clip, if anybody remembers.
Which one?
Fucking But anyways, how's the opening ending?
The opening. What was the opening? The opening's all right. Would I put it on best best opening of this year? No. I believe the opening is Soundgarden. Was it Soundgarden? Sen Yoshino Nanjo. I saw Soundgarden in there. It's all right. But the one thing I have to bring up is the visuals. The visuals are weird, man.
How so?
They've I don't know how to describe it, but if you're like if you're a nuanced isekai watcher like me, you'd get it. It's neither like it's got that you know how most isekais have this certain look nowadays? It's I want to say it's brightly colored, like, medieval like, but this one's slightly watered down. I want to say
Okay.
it's watercolor
Yeah,
esque.
it's weird. It is like desaturated, I think is what
Yeah, the
you're trying to
desaturated is a
say.
good word.
Oh, ew. Okay.
So it's not like it's not super bright like I guess a mouse on a retry. It's more along the lines of I guess slime tensei. Is that what I want to say?
I think that's fair. Yeah, it's weird though. I would say like it's slime tensei, but like it's odd because it has more of like a. It has a far more. It uses like I feel like more cooler colors or like more
Yeah,
cooler variants of colors.
yeah. It watercolored in a way that it kind of looks like. I always bring this up when we have our stuff about Valkyria Chronicles. So I say watercolor desaturated.
Oh, okay, yeah,
It's
that's
not.
actually a pretty apt one.
It's not. It's not that bright, but I guess they want to make it look more storybook. Is want to say, and then like at and then if because if like at the high end you've got those isekai, and then at the lower end I want to say is also Mushoku Tensei. So it sits somewhere closer to Mushoku Tensei slash Slime Tensei over other brighter looking isekais. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's pretty hard to explain in a way.
How are the other parts of the? I guess
Or
anything else on?
maybe I want to say Free Run looks brighter than this. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Free Run is definitely. I, I think there's
I
also
would
like a
say this
different tone
series
to Free Run.
persistently has
Sure.
like the colder scenes in Freerun, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
more wintry
Hmm.
slash like fall scenes in Freerun. It's like
Yeah,
persistently
that's fair.
has
That's
like
fair.
that sort of color palette.
Hmm.
Okay, and I also I brought that up because CGI in this series is pretty bad. The most glaring one is the horses. The horses look stock, and there was quite a few horses in this series because they travel quite a bit of travel. So they travel in carriages, and these horses look super stock.
I mean, the thing is, like, this studio cannot have had like first this studio cannot have had much money to create this to begin with. So it's like I'm like almost expecting it, but it's still like a little bit unfortunate that they they got those static horses there.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
also bring this up because when they try to use, there's this one. There's I want to say several scenes where Angeline and her party are fighting various demons and monsters in what is that called? Is it nuclear fallout? Fallout? Ashen fallout? You know how a volcano? You know when a volcano erupts and there's like soot and debris falling from the sky?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fallout. Yeah.
I guess yeah, fallout. They're fighting in a fallout, and
Oh, okay.
there's like
Sure.
black particles flying around. It doesn't
Oh,
look
it's
good.
CGI particles. Oh,
It
I know what you're
doesn't
talking
look
about.
good.
Yeah, I know. It's like that thing where it's like how in like arcade games or not like in arcade games, but it's like in horror games if you get like the blood splats or splatters, or like somebody spits acid onto you, you get those splats on the screen. Is it like that kind of?
Yeah.
But like hovering
Well,
around.
they're moving. It's not hovering around. They're moving. They're like
Yeah,
they're
they
like in
just
the
look like
wind,
particles. Weird.
yeah.
and it clashes
It's
horribly.
probably like a stock fucking
It probably is.
asset,
I'm
to be
very
Oh,
much
honest.
another
stuck.
really bad one is the magic too.
Yeah,
Especially the one that guy has, the cube. The cube magic does not look too hot.
it's
Kind of
not.
just
CGI is
throws
pretty
around
bad,
magic CGI cubes that
and
get bigger.
the fight scenes are pretty off at certain points. Wait, if you look carefully. So yeah, CGI not good. Does it take away from several scenes? Absolutely, but nothing too bad, I guess. I can see why. This is why some people rate it like mid to low. But I guess I can argue that the fight scenes are not all that what's important. It's the relationship between the daughter and her dad, I guess, which is arguably the best part of the series. Like when they do stuff together, that's when everything else is kind of bad. But yeah,
Yeah, I think when you see that soot scene you mentioned, like that should be the indicator for someone watching the show to be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, the fight. This is not about the fights. This is the
yeah,
fight. Like this is nothing about the fights."
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anything else?
overall,
Yeah.
very
Anything
very
else on the
cool
audio
slice of
visuals?
life. People might not like it, but I do. I like Junichi Suabe as Belgrieve, the Red Ogre. But yeah, heartwarming story of a dad just being a cool stay-at-home dad, and his daughter off saving the world, and then coming home for rest and relaxation before saving the world again. Yeah,
All right. Well, thank you very much, Toast.
my
Again,
rate my
this is.
rating. Let's.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes.
I had a thought. Is it how many points should I give a series? Like how many points do I give a series to say like I like this series for what it was, even though it's bad? Is like how many points?
Even though what's bad?
Even though it's like mid to not so good, but it's because I'm super biased toward this series that I'll give it a high score regardless. How many points is that? Is that worth 3 or 4 points?
I think that
Out
I
of
think
10?
I think if something is like mid but you still liked it, that's like a decent like 6 or 5.5, right? Like
Yeah, I will definitely give it a 5 because it's like if 10, because like you have to imagine 10. I think this is a good conversation because it's like you have to imagine 10 as sort of the box of potential, right? That the series can be in, because it's like you wouldn't like if I'm comparing this, or if I'm rating the series, right? I wouldn't make 10 be, Evangelion, right? Like that doesn't make sense because I'm not at that point. I'm not comparing apples and oranges at all. So 10 would be like if you could idealize this series, what would it be? And if you're just like, oh well, it's not the best form of that, but it's like it's kind of in the middle, then I think it's definitely like a 5, or like as near said, a 6 or something like that.
Yeah. I want to say, I guess if you don't like the anime or think it's kind of subpar, just read the manga. The manga's way better, I guess.
Okay.
Art style wise, the manga's very similar to the anime, so
Yeah.
just read the manga. But yeah, going off of that scale, Spire 5.5 to a 6. With my bias, that makes it a 9 out of 10. Are you sure?
I don't
I don't
think
think
that's
that's
how
how
it
that.
works, man.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's
See.
how the math works out.
So you're saying 3 points is too generous? Maybe two. Maybe two then.
I don't think you have to add it on, but
So
I
yeah.
think we should.
So
Yeah.
going by that score, this series is an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
That is not how I told you to calculate you, Fab, but okay.
Fine. 7 plus
7
2 in brackets out of
plus
10.
2 plus 2.
That makes it 9 minus 2.
Oh my
I
god.
like this series. Why? Because I like the it's all about family moments in this. Also, Junichi Suwabe, very good casting. A plus, A plus. Like the casting is really good. So
Yeah,
even
yeah,
if you
for
don't
sure.
like
Yeah,
this
if you just look
series,
at the casting, it's good.
even though you don't like the series, read the manga.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you very much, Toast, for helping cover this series. I know in terms of like not isekais, but like the sort of like power fantasy, like slice of life or feudal fantasy, power fantasy, high fantasy. I hate having to repeat that like the fantasy thing twice, but yeah, power fantasy, high fantasy. Um, I guess it's not even a power fantasy, right? It's like just
Oh,
a high fantasy soul life kind of thing.
how? I mean,
Um,
how do you? It's no power fantasy, I guess.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean
it's not
the
a
S
power
I
rank,
fantasy.
mean,
the
It's just soul life. It's
daughter,
just soul
the
life.
daughter is also like she's strong, but she's very much
I
not
guess like
like
are you like
invincible.
would the people would be inserting yourself into the role of the father? Is that how it would work? But even then,
who
it's
would who would
kind of like
want
whatever.
to insert themselves into the father, unless you're some sort of pervert?
Some
For
people are
real.
just daughter cons, man. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, high fantasy soul life. If you
It's
enjoy the
way
search
better than
series,
the other Osan series of this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
caliber. Yeah, unfortunately.
So if you do want to watch this, please check it out. Maybe read the web novel slash manga. It is okay. 冒険者になりたいと宮家に寝ていた娘が S ランクになった。Or My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned as an S rank adventurer, also known as S Rank Musume. So please do check it out when you have the time.